happened. And another thing is, you shouldn't be so forceful in a conversation saying like, oh no, this is my girlfriend, we're just like looking for someone to have a threesome with, or like, here's like my private parts and like here's pictures of us. Like it's weird. Nobody wants that.
Yeah, that's super weird. When people just say like, somebody just messaged us, and if you're watching this, yeah, somebody just messaged us. They're like, oh, you guys are a throuple? Yeah, obviously. Oh no, they hit us up. They're like, oh, we're swingers. I'm like, cool, what's up? They're like, are you into swinging? No. And even if we were, what does that have to do with you? What does, it's not, oh, you like having threesomes? Oh, great, let's have one. No, stop being weird. Just be normal. Like, Pam just said if I would have approached her that way, it would have been weird. Like, I don't know, I was just like going off the top. Like, we don't rehearse these videos. We just do one take. We just speak naturally from our heart. So like, I never like straight up said, hey, da-da-da, what's up? My girl's bi. Like, it was more natural. Like Pam kind of said, is like, you just have a normal conversation. If you're trying to talk to a girl in general, you don't make it go, oh girl, you're so beautiful, like I want to take you out. Like,
Good. Hi guys, welcome to another edition of Love and Lifestyle. I'm Pri, this is Jack, and that's Pam. Today we'll be answering a question that we get a lot from you guys, is how do you find the third person? Ooh. So, let's see. This is how you do it. All the rules. There isn't any rules.
Yeah, I mean, to answer that question is like, I think it comes from the intention too, because when, I don't know if this is just me, do you guys think that when people ask that, I feel it could just be my bias, but I feel like people are asking with like a weird intention. Like, it's not just like, yeah, we're poly and I'm looking for my third. It's like, how do you look for a girlfriend? How do you look for a boyfriend? How do you get in a relationship naturally? It's literally the same thing. Like, I feel like people overcomplicate this too much because it's foreign to them. There's really not that much different from poly and monogamous relationship.
Yes.
The way that we started our poly journey or whatever is I was just seeing, like, we had, it wasn't an open relationship, but obviously we knew we were interested in other women, so I would meet girls, and the way that it would go is I would meet them. If I vibe with them and everything like checked out, I would already know if they're gonna vibe with Pri or not, because like I just know her enough. So if that all checked out, then we would all hang out together, and then we would see how that goes. But it's just super natural.
Well, another thing that I think you should keep in mind is a poly relationship isn't a one-night threesome. It's something serious. You're building a relationship with just an extra person. It's not something for fun. So I don't think people should look into poly looking to, oh, I'm trying to spice up my relationship, let me find a third girlfriend, you know?
Yeah, or like, oh my god, it's Valentine's Day, let me surprise my boyfriend with a threesome. It's like, that's not gonna, okay, it's like fun, but it's like, that's not really gonna fix your relationship.
Yeah.
It's like, that's another person you gotta take care of. It's like, are you prepared for that, you know?
So, I think it's like, oh, how do I do this? Like, you have to have, and we talk about this in every video we do, if your communication isn't there with your partner, this is never going to work. Because if Steven and I hadn't had, like, A1 communication, like, perfect communication from the very beginning, honesty, like, if he hadn't been honest from the very beginning, anyone, when that gets brought up to you, will have doubts about themselves. They are going to start to, like, think, oh, am I good enough? Like, what am I doing wrong? Are they cheating? Have they already slept with them? There could be 1,000 questions that run through your partner's mind that if you had great communication, that wouldn't even come along.
All right. So when people ask that, though, like, there is people that I feel are genuine. It's just like, hey, like, you know, I realize I'm poly, whatever, and like, what do some people say in the DMs and whatnot? They're just like, we I haven't found a girl mature enough for that, or I haven't, like, how do you find like-minded people? It's like, we didn't look for like-minded people. We didn't look for a third. We weren't trying to find a third. It's like, we were just living our lives naturally. It's like, even if you're single, it's like, okay, I want a girlfriend, I want a boyfriend. You don't look, like, it's not a mission. You live your life, and naturally you'll meet people. It's like, you don't go to the club, you know, they always say you're not going to find Prince Charming in the club, right?
Yeah.
So you just do what you're naturally going to do. Right? How have you met people in the past? You're at the gym, you meet a girl there, you naturally, you know, start talking or whatever. You're both into fitness, you have common ground, you build a relationship. That's the same way we met all the girls that we've spoken to and whatnot before. And then that's exactly how I met Pam. I met Pam, we were just like friends on Facebook. We talk about that in the story of how we met, but basically we just met up as friends. There's no intention of like, hey, we want you to be our third, and we're super weird and creepy. It's like, we're just hanging out. Oh, cool, you're dope. Oh my God, we're vibing. Everything's like hitting it off smooth. And then it's like, I knew from meeting Pam that she was going to vibe with Pri. So it's like, cool, yeah, you definitely like, the other important thing is from the beginning of meeting the third, it's like, there's stories of people that they just, it's like bait and switch. A girl met up with a guy and then boom, there's a girl there. Or usually it's the girl. Like, I feel like a lot of guys have the girl like try to find the third.
Girl.
Like, that's weird. Like, before me and Pam even met up, it's like she knows I have a girlfriend. She knows the gist of the situation, and like, that's it. And we're not meeting up with a sexual intention or a romantic relationship. That's never works out when you meet up with. That's why I don't like Tinder and like blind date things, because you meet and then it's like there's that intention. Like, don't force it. So we met up, natural, cool, and then we just let it flow from there.
Yeah, so that's again where the communication comes in. It's like you're going to communicate on either side, because there's trust. I wasn't that crazy girlfriend that's like, why are you gonna go have a drink with a girl? Like, come on, like, he's a grown-up. We both have our own friends. We both mingle and meet new people. We both have jobs and stuff like that. We're always meeting new people, and that's okay. You know, I had acquaintances that their man can't even look to the side. It's like, what are you looking at? Like, that's not healthy. So you have to have a healthy base before even being able to explore that option.
Yeah. I feel like that question was kind of more for us, because it's how do we find our third?
Yeah.
But you being in the third, like, what do you say from like the outside looking in for how people should approach? Like, what could we have done to mess it up?
Well, the thing is, it's like, you don't realize there's a lot of poly people out there, or like, I never really knew what it was. Like, I had an experience with it before, but it was never serious. And it's, you don't realize how many people are out there in the circle living this kind of lifestyle until you're put into it, you know? And it's like, that's another thing. You can't expect someone, like, get into a relationship with a girl that you like and like make her be poly if she doesn't really want, you know? It's like, you have to meet like-minded people, and if it works out for you, great. But it's like, you're not gonna magically like go to a bar and meet up with a girl and like expect her to like be okay with the fact that you have a girlfriend. Everybody's different, you know? And it's like, until you're put in that position and you're open to it, like, more people around you start like talking about their own experiences, and it's just like easier to relate, you know? Like, one of my friends was in a long year relationship with like 2 other females, and it's kind of just like, it gave me a better understanding of being the person that enters it, you know, and like what to expect and like what to talk about, like how to work it out, you know? So it's like, it does help when you're around people that are into it too. It's just, you can't force anybody to do it, or...
So you can't make your girlfriend or boyfriend become poly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, maybe it's just like, you know, when you become aware of something, it's like when you hear a word for the first time and then you start hearing it all the time. Yeah. It's like when we discovered that poly was a thing, then I automatically, like, I just met a girl randomly, like, just in conversation. She's like, oh, my sister's in a poly relationship. She's been with her boyfriend and her girlfriend for 3 years. They've been living together, all that kind of stuff. And maybe too, it's just like reticular activation system. We just become aware of it. But like online, all these things like popped up and stuff too. So it's like, there are people like that out there, but I don't feel that it makes sense to like search it out like you're on a mission. It does have to happen naturally. Like Pam said, there are people like that out there, and you will find it, but don't hunt it down.
I mean, it's weird. There's even like poly dating sites.
I think it's something that people don't, like, we didn't know about poly. I had never even heard about it before we met Pam, but people don't talk about it. I think it's something that happens more than you think, you know, but because the world is so judgmental, it becomes hard to find these people that are hiding because they're scared of being judged.
Yeah.
For this is exactly how the conversation would go when we met plenty of girls. Like, I'm talking to a girl, hey, what's up, da da da, just like shooting the shit, just like a normal thing. And then it's like, especially if it's online, they're gonna see that I have a girlfriend. They're like, do you have a girlfriend? I'm like, yeah. And they're like, so why are you in my DMs? It's like, no, she like, it's cool. Like, my girl's bi, like, you know, well, I didn't say poly before because that wasn't a thing, but it's like you bring that up from the beginning. A lot of times, girls, they're interested. They're like intrigued by that. Like, what? That's weird. That's, I can never do that. Da da da. Or like, oh, that's interesting. Like, I thought about that. Like, oh, I love threesomes. You know, there's all different ways. But what you don't do is if you have that conversation, they're like, oh, that's so weird. Like, don't talk to me. It's like, no way, but poly is so good. Like, don't try to force it. Just be normal, be natural. Like, don't put in your head, I'm poly now, I gotta find my third. That's not gonna work. But
No.
I feel like we like kind of, does that answer? Do you feel like people that watch this video right now, you tell us, but do you feel like people that watch this right now have an idea of how to find their third, or what else could do? What else is like the secret sauce?
I think we hit the main points of like, it's not something you force. It's not like there's a rule. Like, even in a monogamous relationship, when you're consistently looking, oh, this is the one, oh, this is the one, like, you might like miss certain things, and then you're unhappy, and then you end up being stuck in a bad relationship because you're such in a need for a relationship that like you just rush into stuff and you end up hurting each other and stuff like that. Same thing goes for poly. So I think we hit all the major points. It's just be honest with yourself, like, communicate. We're always going to hit that point. Communicate, build that trust, and that's how you're
what would
going
have,
to...
last thing, what would have not worked? Like, how would I have came off to you that you would have been like, this is weird?
Well, just automatically assuming that I'm okay with it would have made me uncomfortable. Because it's like, if you would have gone like, oh no, like how you approach those other girls, like, would have made me uncomfortable. But that's just the kind of person I am. If you're just like, oh no, like, my girls, I mean, I would have never, if you messaged me naturally, I would have never assumed that you would want to hook up with me or want anything else with me. It's like, you know, I make friends all the time. It's like, I don't see that intention in people unless it's, you know, unless I can see that you're clearly flirting. But if you were to message me, like, saying, like, oh no, like, my girl's cool, like, she's bi, like, I personally would have been a little weirded out about that. But like I said, that's just me. To me, like, it's just something that should happen naturally, like it happened to us. Like, you know, me and him met up, strictly platonic, like, we didn't think this was going to happen. You know, it just kind of did happen. And another thing is, you shouldn't be so forceful in a conversation saying, like, oh no, this is my girlfriend, we're just, like, looking for someone to have a threesome with, or, like, here's, like, my private parts, and, like, here's pictures of us. Like, it's weird. Nobody wants that.
Yeah, that's super weird. When people just say, like, somebody just messaged us, and if you're watching this, yeah, somebody just messaged up. They're like, oh, you guys are a throuple? Yeah, obviously. Oh no, they hit us up. They're like, oh, we're swingers. I'm like, cool, what's up? They're like, are you into swinging? No. And even if we were, what does that have to do with you? What does, it's not, oh, you like having threesomes? Oh, great, let's have one. No, stop being weird. Just be normal. Like, Pam just said if I would have approached her that way, it would have been weird. Like, I don't know, I was just, like, going off the top. Like, we don't rehearse these videos. We just do one take. We just speak naturally from our heart. So, like, I never, like, straight up said, hey, da-da-da, what's up? My girl's bi. Like, it was more natural. Like Pam kind of said, is like, you just have a normal conversation. If you're trying to talk to a girl in general, you don't make it go, oh, girl, you're so beautiful. Like, I want to take you out. Like, I want to be with you.
There's, like, people out there that are more assertive. Like, if you're at a bar and you see a cute girl alone, it's like, you don't approach her and make her feel cornered. It's like, you know, you'll either get her a drink, like, ask her name, and it's like, you can play the mysterious person and, like, walk away and come back later or something, but it's like, you never corner her and make her uncomfortable in any way. And that goes for meeting your third, meeting your fourth, or whatever, just meeting someone in general. It's like, you have to be normal and natural.
Yeah, and it's not gonna happen. It's not one date. Like, you go on a date with people all the time, and you're like, oh my goodness, I never want to see this person again. But that's the thing. Don't rush into it. Like, I think the only reason it really worked is, like, we went on our first date together and I met Pam. Then we kept, like, we loved each other's dynamic and it worked. And it, like, oh, I really like this aura. Like, I like her aura. I like how she is. Like, you know, and then it just grew and we went on more dates and we started hanging out more, and it naturally happened.
Yeah, well, that's another thing too. It's like, if you are looking for a third and you're the extrovert that's, like, looking for you and your partner, you have to make sure you find someone that works in your relationship too. Like, you can't just find, like, you know, like, what if I was more, like, into anime and, like, not girly stuff and, like, or not into the kind of thing that Priya is into? It's, like, it'll be a little tougher, you know, for our relationship to work. It's, like, I'm kind of, like, right in between them, which is funny. But it's, like, you know, if you find someone that's, like, completely like you and has nothing relate to your partner, it's, like, that's just going to be a little tougher, you know? You have to make sure that it works because you don't want to ruin your relationship over just something that may or may not work, you know?
That's funny you said that because I'm actually always in the middle, like when we sleep, but...
I'm claustrophobic. I don't.
Well, see, like, that's stuff that you learn with the, like, as the time goes on. Same way you learn with the monogamous relationship.
So, signing off, guys, just do it naturally. Build a relationship normally. Like, the way that Pam just described it, that's perfect. Don't be forceful. You don't make your intentions so clear. It's just, if you meet the girl at the club, you don't say, oh, you're so hot, da-da-da, like, come home with me. I mean, you can do that. It does work. But, like, you just meet somebody normally.
That's not the kind of girl
and then,
you would want, I would
yeah,
say.
exactly.
Yeah.
But you just meet them normally, and then it's like you get in a conversation. Oh, this is what you do. This is what you do. Yeah, I have a girlfriend. Da-da. Oh, and then it's like, oh, you have a girlfriend. Like, I thought like you were trying to flirt with me or whatever, like not or whatever. And it's like, oh no, wait, actually, you know, my girlfriend's cool with me having another girlfriend, or my girlfriend, you know, we're bi or whatever. Then you can open up that conversation naturally. Don't force it, but that's how you find your third. And good luck.
Yeah.
Thanks for tuning in, guys. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and all that YouTube stuff. Please leave more questions. We love doing this for you guys. We'd love being able to respond to all your questions. So until next time, bye. Toodaloo!